Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's your host, Dr. Giggles from SFNEOnline's The Road Show. And on this video, we're going to be talking about Fairtown Full Contact. Now, before you get going and watching this video, I am putting a warning out there. See the warning? Anyway, if you easily get offended, you don't like to hear about Halloween horror things, you don't want to hear bad words, stop the video now. Move on to something else. You can go in the playlist, whatever. There's plenty of other videos for you to enjoy if you don't like this, because if you complain, say that was filthy, whatever, and I'm sure that's going to leave it wide open for comments below, I don't want to hear it. You've been warned. You lose the right to complain and moan and bitch after you watch this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get into this video, and we're going to be talking about what it is, where it is, and what goes on inside the haunt. So where this place, what this is Fairtown's Full Contact. You're going to get touched, you're going to get put in extreme situations, you're going to experience psychological stress, which you do. You're going to have lots of bad, naughty words and weird instances of things going on. But the place, like I said, it's called Fairtown. It's in SEEKONK, Massachusetts. It's right behind, in the same parking lot area of the SEEKONK Speedway. So if you're familiar with the area, if you do want more information about the haunt, you can go to fairtown.com and you can check out all that stuff. And the haunt costs $30. It says people under 18. You know, it's not suggested for people under 18, even though I brought the kids, and it was quite the what do you call it? The evening. And before we get into it, I'm just gonna set this up. On Thursday of last week, I told the kids, which you all know, Devin and Jeremy, that I had bought the tickets and that they were going and what it was about. And Devin was like, "All right, cool." You know, he's turning 15 on November 30th, and Jeremy turns 13 on 13. Yeah, 13 on December 21st. So he wanted nothing to do it. He didn't want to be touched. He didn't want to go. He's like, "Why can't I go to Nana and Babu's house? Why do I gotta go? Blah, 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 blah." So with that being said, and Jeremy not really wanting to go, that sets up the story, so remember this. So we get to the haunt, and, you know, we got our ticket ready to go, ready to scan, and, you know, you got to go sign the waiver. And like, "Oh, you sure?" You know, the kids, because, you know, the situations. I'm like, "No, all set." You go to the next line, same thing. "You sure?" "Yep, all set." And then they kind of corral you, like in a different line. They got different things going on. And while we're waiting to get into that corral line, there's a fat guy, you know, like me, you know, big belly with a smiley face on, with a mask on, dancing and jiggling around and stuff. So just imagine me with a smiley face on my stomach, dancing around, saying all kinds of messed up stuff. So when it was our turn, a guy comes out and he starts going like this on your head, sniffing you out, and then he decides that the person to be taken in the haunt by themselves was Jeremy. So grabs him by the hand, takes him in there. It's a good few minutes before we actually get to go in. So when we finally get in, we find Jeremy, and he's laying on his table, and he's all set up inside a guillotine. And which was funny, because he's sitting there smiling, laughing, whatever, you know, because all eyes on me, Mr. I don't want to go and be touched. And so the actor, you know, everybody stop. We're all around the guillotine, and he's trying to get people all hyped up. And then we start counting down, and then slam. And then next thing you know, head doesn't chop off. I know, unfortunate, right? And then he gets off the table, and then the guy's like, "Hey, now you can get your pizza, kid." So basically what I'm thinking is, when he was talking to whatever he was saying to the actor, I got to find out the conversation, but he must have been saying that, "Oh, I'm going to get pizza after," because we went to Papa Gino's after. So after that, we go to the next room, and mind you, all these stories I'm telling, I know we're going to be out of sequence for the most part, as I remember them, so just bear in mind it's not all in chronological order. I know that. The next thing I remember is walking around, you go into this room, and there's this lady standing on a table. I don't know if there was two ladies or just one lady. Oh no, then there was somebody on the ground, and they could pretend this is a paintbrush, and then they go like that, and they go, "Ooh," and you can see the picture I'm going to insert in this video around now. and what I looked like when I got out of the haunt. And it was fake blood that they put on. So with that being said, they're trying to get Alyssa on the table. She wasn't hearing it. They tried to get Jeremy. He wasn't hearing it. They got some chick that was really into it to do it. I don't even remember what was going on there. I was just laughing at what was going on. And mind you, they have a safe word. Safe word was cupcake. They didn't use it at that point, but they're just like, no, I ain't doing it. Being little brats. And when that went on, mind you, a lot of things go on. They're like, get against the wall. Or they'll say, get the fuck against the wall. And then they go, or certain situations, you say, get on your knees. So I remember after leaving that, we walked, and then we got to a room where it was like a dirty laundry room, and then they're taking, clothes, and then they were smashing on people's face because it's supposed to be like dirty, wet laundry. And then my glasses went flying off. Like, it went smooth right off. And then we had to turn the cell phone light on so we could find, my glasses. That kind of ruined the moment for a few minutes. Then we found them, and then we continued on. Now, the next thing I can remember is us being put on our knees in front of this table of food. I had pig's head and whatever food that was there. And they're like, oh, you put your face in the food. Nobody really put their face in the food, but we were close enough that, let me tell you, the food smelled disgusting. And you were held there long enough that you actually you started gagging and you wanted to throw up. It was pretty fucking gross. We'll leave it at that. Now, I know that we kept walking, and you keep walking, you go around. Like I said, things are out of order and things aren't correct in the right sequence. But after that, we got to this area that I remember, and we're all standing there, and next thing you know, I get picked out for being evil. Whatever, people point at me. I guess I'm evil, and they were like, he was like, all right, get down and give me 10. So I'm like, what? And he's like, give me 10 push-ups. So I'm doing these push-ups. I'm banging them out real good. Surprisingly, being fat, I can bang out some push-ups. I know I did like 15, 20 more, whatever. And while I'm doing it, the guy is getting everybody to start yelling, including my friends, Luco, and then you got Jessica, and you got the kids, wimp, wimp. So imagine all these people go, wimp, 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 while I'm doing this. And then I stop. Then they get me, and then they put me in this coffin, and I'm standing up, my face against the back of the coffin. There's no door on it. Jessica gets put into this hole where there's a passageway in it that she has to later crawl out of. And then after they grab me, they're trying to put Devin to do push-ups, and he got out of it because they were trying to get Alyssa to go do something, and she wouldn't do it. And then, if I remember correctly, she ended up going with me. I don't remember, or going through the hole with the tunnel. I can't remember. Now, as we moved on, I mean, think about it. This place is chaotic, and you get separated a lot. With all the chaos and craziness going around, we had the next thing, we walk. Jeremy got put in the coffin, and then he kind of got forgotten or just held for like 5-10 minutes. But he caught up with us because there's just so much chaos. So he catches up with us. We're walking, and I know I'm missing a few things here and there in between that. I do remember, like, I don't know if this happened before or after, but I think it happened after. There was a guy holding a pig head, and then it evidently had lip balm on it, and he's like making it kiss us. So we got chapstick on our face, and then we ended up at this church, and inside, the haunt, and there's like two evil, satanic people. Again, who's evil? Me. Who gets picked? Me. And then I end up being the new satanic leader, and they paint an upside down black cross on my head. Now, this is where I love this in the next section the most out of all the haunt. The whole haunt is awesome, but I loved it. And actually, I'm on a sequence, but I'll tell the other sequence before this that I remember this. But anyway, this was this part and the next one is my actual two favorites. So, I'm the leader. Now imagine you got a nice bright shining light, and you really can't see the people in front of you, but he makes them get on their knees and profess that I am the leader. So I'm excited, and I'm like, "Bada, motherfuckers!" And then they're making them chant shit at me that I'm the leader and blah blah blah. And then when they have to get up, I'm like, "Come on, follow me, bitches!" And then we move on to the next thing. But I got to reverse a little. Told you things are gonna be out of sequence. and crazy. After we caught up with Jeremy before the church, it was like an area set up like a garage, like a car garage. And they made us pile into a minivan, and they, you couldn't go in the front seats. It was all the back seats. Everybody's on top of each other. Jessica's like, oh, it stinks in here. And then the guy's like, well, why don't you close your fucking legs? And so I'm sitting on top of Devin. Everybody's sitting on top of each other. The door's shut. They're shaking it, rocking it, smashing it with stuff. Somebody's on top of it. And, you know, and then they let us out. And then they're grabbing us as we walk by. And then we get into, well, there's a tipped over car. They make us go in it. We're all like crawled up in it. Jeremy's farting like crazy, stinking the joint up. We can't go anywhere. They're banging on it. They're shaking it. They're yelling and screaming and swearing at us. And it was kind of chaotic. And it was crazy. It was fucking crazy. So, you know, then you move on with that. Then, now we get to the church. And then after the church, we end up, you know, after they say that, and then, oh yeah, the next spot is my other favorite spot. We go. Now, picture this with an Irish accent, because I have a horrible Irish accent. Horrible, because I'm not Irish, and it's just horrible accent that I have. But he's like, hey, we've heard complaints about you. And we're like, huh? And he's like, yeah, you guys, fuck clowns. You bunch of clown fuckers. You know, that's my horrible Irish accent, if any. And puts this straggler chick inside the fake lie detector test, lights up red, and he's like, oh, yep, you fuck clowns. You guys need help, blah, blah, blah. So now I got the kids behind me, the three of them going, clown fuckers, clown fuckers, you know, so on. And we get to this area where there's like a crazy cat lady that stops you in front of a house, and she pours this stuff down the back of our shirts, and then it goes down my ass crack. And I know, I figured it was dirt. And she's like, oh, now you guys got fleas. Oh, it's bad. Now you got to go in the thingamajiggy. You know, you got to go in there. So then I go in there, and then there's like cat people, and the cat woman is like, hey, you gotta, what do you call it? Get on the table. I'm like, is this table gonna hold me? I'm fat. She's like, get on the table. So then they start putting lipstick on me, and then they got, what do you call it? You know, painting me up to, and they're like, oh, you're a pretty kitty. And then I'm like, meow. And then they're like, oh, go crawl like a cat out of here. So I do that, and everybody else, and you'll see the pictures about everybody else getting painted up like a clown. Well, not necessarily a clown, with kitties and whatever, all crap all over your face. I do remember getting to an area, and it could be where the pig was with the chapstick on it. They did. Now, everybody that knows Luco, he's, you know, tall dude, well, to me, everybody's taller than me, but he's 6 foot tall. And, what do you call it? They got him on his knees, and they were making him sing ABC. And, well, to sing. They wanted him to sing a song. He's like, I don't know a song. And I'm like, Luco, just sing the ABCs. So he's singing the ABCs, and he stops. And he's like, I didn't fucking tell you to stop. Keep singing. They're sprinkling hay on him and all that. And it was quite comical to see him made to be look like a bitch. But then again, everybody was made to be look like a bitch by the end of this. So anyway, so after that, we get to this area where there's, you know, like these hobos or something. They're looking for a birthday present in the trash. They're like, come help us. So we're like idiots. We're picking through trash. And then they couldn't, you know, it's just so you pick up trash. And while you're looking up trash, they're pouring trash on you. And then they're like, they look, said to me, where's that hobo? And then they give you the birthday thing that goes, you know, you blow out. And they're like, oh, where's the hobo? It's dirty. Da, da, da. We get to this area that you had to crawl through a tunnel. So you come out, and then you come back where you start, and then you have to go to the other tunnel and get you out. And then after you do that, you come across, you know, we were getting separated, put against walls and stuff like that. And, you know, Jessica's got two chicks around her, forcing her. She's singing ABCs. I'm in a corner. Everybody's getting put in corners and all that other stuff. And it was just pure chaos. It was crazy for all that time. And I do know after that we got to this place, and they ended up putting bags over our heads. And you could breathe. They weren't on tight. You got a little hot, but you could breathe. And then when you get to the stop and like grab the rope, you grab a rope and you just keep walking for 5 minutes or so. And then when we get to that, you know, they take the bags off our heads. And the next thing you see is you see Jessica's and Alyssa's head, and they're singing some rabbit song, and Jessica's like, la 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 la. But mind you, if you take the bag off your head, they will yell and swear at you, because Alyssa took the bag off her head, and they were like, I didn't tell you to take off the fucking bag. Put the fucking bag back on your head. So keep that in mind when you go and do that, because it's key. Don't anger them. Just do what they say. So after that, then Jeremy gets, I remember getting tied up, so to speak, rope with the rabbit people. Yeah, no, it sounds weird, because it doesn't make any sense, which is great, and it's just chaotic, and it's really what I needed. And from doing all that, so Jeremy ends up with duct tape on his eyes, duct tape's on his mouth, so he's got to hold on to me. We're going through these tunnels, you know, walking, and then it gets shorter and shorter. You know how those are. They get shorter and shorter, and you're going through. And then, so we get to the clown section. You know, everybody's got a clown section. And it wasn't like a crazy 3D clown haunt or anything like that, but it was done very well. It's like a massive chain link fence maze kind of thing. But before you get into that mess, they stop you. And while we're walking, now mind you, I got Jeremy, and then one of the clowns walks up to us and blows the air horn right in Jeremy's face. He can't see it, he can hear it. And that really pissed him off, but you know what? Toughen up, kid. Toughen up. So now they take Jeremy away from me and they give him to Alyssa to keep going. Now, mind you, the people that know Jeremy and Alyssa, they always battle and argue like they hate each other, but you know, they're like best friends. You know, they try to talk a tough game, like, ooh, cooties and stuff like that, you know, because they're about the same age, and you know how that is. So they go walking off until they find Devin, I heard, and then Alyssa passed Jeremy off to Devin. And Jeremy was a good sport and kept the duct tape on until the end, because this is the last area of the haunt with the clowns. So when I was stuck, I couldn't leave until I scared someone. So I had to duck down and hide behind a fence, and then the clown would nod for me to go and scare someone. And then once I scared someone, then I could leave. So he nodded, I jumped out, and I went, whatever, some stupid shit, and I didn't scare the people. But that guy had, obviously everybody has stuff all over their face, and he had duct tape on his mouth too. And but the clown liked my effort, so he's like, all right, you can go. So you get to the next clown a little ways down, and he's all like in your face, you know, and he's like, ooh, and he's like, ooh, you like that? And he's putting his hands through his hair, and he's sniffing you out. I'm like, ooh, I like that. And then eventually he probably goes like, oh, this is a sick bastard, so just let him go. So the next clown is Chainsaw Clown. And everybody knows the haunts have chainsaws, and most people think that they're real, you know, got a blade on them, but they don't. I know, giving away a haunt secret. Ooh. But Chainsaw Clown, or Clown Chainsaw, whatever you want to call him, he actually touches you with the chainsaw, and it's cool. You know, rubbing your leg or whatever with it. And then you get past him, and then get to the end. Now there's another clown at the end, and he'll like put rope around you, walk you out like a dog to humiliate you at the end, or whatever. Well, when it comes time for me, puts the rope around me, and he goes, chainsaws? And I'm like, chainsaws. I don't know what the hell he means. More chainsaws? Oh, sure, more chainsaws. Drags me all the way back with the rope. I mean, fast. Like, I was, like, sprinting while tied up, going back to the chainsaw clown. Like, cutting through areas, so we didn't have to, like, go, you know, with all the people. So, now I get to the chainsaw clown guy, and now I'm basically getting molested by a chainsaw in between my legs, on my balls, on my legs, everywhere. I got touched everywhere with a chainsaw. Kind of, and then dragged back and then brought out. And, you know, one by one, everybody's coming out. And it was cool. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it. The haunt's $30. Sometimes some people trust my opinion on haunts. Some people don't, think I'm nuts. I know this type of thing is not for everybody. And realistically, if you're going to go in there and use Cupcake like a little bitch, don't even bother going. My recommendation is, if you're on the fence about trying it and you try it, just go with it. They can't kill you. They can't seriously injure you, because they know they get sued. And they actually, when I met the owners actually today, which is Wednesday, November 8th, you know, they were taking down the haunt. And I went up there and hung out with him for like an hour or so, and we chit-chat. He says, it's the safest night than during the regular. Drunk people aren't allowed in there, like all messed up. You know, people use the safe word, and by using the safe word, you only get out of that situation. You don't get out of the haunt, and you'll get put into another situation. So don't be a bitch. Don't use the safe word. Just roll with it. You know, have fun with it. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. So if you play along and have a ball, you're going to have a ball. The actors can touch you. You can't touch them. Just roll with it. Because it's really awesome. It's really fun. And I'm telling you, it's definitely the best $30 that I spent on myself for a haunt in a really long time. It was worth every dollar, every penny. So when you're looking for a haunt experience, go to Fairtown. Check out the website, fairtown.com. Check it out normally because it's still cool normally. I went when it wasn't full contact. And I've gone when it was full contact. I prefer the full contact because I'm into that kind of thing. But either way, you can't lose. But I highly suggest doing full contact. It's really neat. Everybody's brought in and made part of the haunt. And it's really cool. So hopefully you enjoyed this video and everything that came with it. If you did like it, hit the like button, subscribe, share it, let the world see it, because the world needs to know about Fairtown Haunt. Let me tell you that. So anyway, until next time, everybody, keep on coasting, y'all. Peace out.